But then you have this other group on the right, which is like the equivalent, the pure equivalent to these SJWs. I call them the culture warriors, the CWs. These culture warriors are just like they need something to be upset about. They need something to be angry about, and so they want to complain about stuff like this. Like when you had this dude complaining about the movie The Batman, like he was doing the same stuff that they accused SJWs of doing. This dude is literally is basically complaining about microaggressions. I'm gonna say it again. This CW, this culture warrior, is complaining about microaggressions because he feels that there's certain subtle things being said uh, that make it seem that too many of these white characters are bad guys. But now, why? Because now a lot of people will automatically these culture warriors will automatically say, "Oh, it's all virtue signaling. It's all about just trying to basically change the culture." And I'm going to say they're wrong sometimes. Sometimes you do have people that are trying to make some bigger statements, but sometimes it's just something as simple as self-interest. And so when I'm talking about MCU race swapping, guess why the MCU race swaps? For the dollar. Pure and simple. The MCU does race swapping predominantly for the dollar. Let me explain what I mean. Thor, the movie Thor, is about these superheroes which are based on Norse mythology. So you've got Thor, Odin, you've got Heimdall, you've got all of these characters that are supposed to be based on Norse mythology. So clearly they should be blonde hair, blue eyed. That should be what they look like. But the MCU cast Idris Elba as Heimdall, and they cast an Asian actor as one of the Thor's like three friends. Why did they do that? They did it because they wanted black people and white and Asian people to watch the movie. It's that simple. They wanted black people and Asian people to watch the movie. So they knew Idris Elba is not just because they noticed they didn't just get some nobody black dude to play Heimdall. They got Idris Elba. Black people know Idris Elba. Black people like Idris Elba. So you put Idris Elba in Thor, and guess what? You've got black people coming to see, hey, okay, Idris is in this. Let me check this out. Right? It was a move of pure self-interest. Pure self-interest. And it's not the only time they did it. Doctor Strange, Chiwetel Ejiofor, once again, a prominent black actor who's well respected by the black community. Put him in this movie, black people were like, oh, wow, okay, this dude's in it. I got to check it out. I really like this dude. Like when the MCU does race swapping, the MCU is basically saying, we want to make sure this group of people comes to see this movie. So we're going to change one of the races of the character so that and put an actor that has the draw to get that audience in the seats, in addition to broader audiences. What I can't stand is how you now have so many people labeling everything that has a black character as woke. It's serious. It is crazy. As woke as JW garbage, it's insane, racist as hell, and they're just becoming what they preach against. Yeah, because they're doing they are literally complaining about microaggressions and representation. they're complaining that they don't have adequate representation or they have negative representation while ignoring the whole fact that these conversations started about representation. It's like, wait a minute, you just proved that if you're Ryan Kinnell wants to complain about negative representation, whites looking bad in the Batman, then that's like, how can you have any problem with SJWs or anybody who's complained about the way Hollywood has portrayed black people, specifically black males, for decades? They make black males look like thugs. They make black women look like harlots. Like they just do. Like Hollywood's been doing this for decades. But the only time he has a problem with it is when he thinks that white people are made to look other than completely virtuous. Let's talk about Nick Fury, because a lot of younger people have only seen Nick Fury on TV or on screen. The only Nick Fury they've seen on screen is Samuel L. Jackson. I've seen Nick Fury as David Hasselhoff, because Nick Fury used to be a white guy with with the gray streak in his hair. And I remember David Hasselhoff of Knight Rider playing Nick Fury. Now, I'm not saying he was good at it. I'm not saying it was a great film, but I remember David Hasselhoff playing Nick Fury. I remember it. But if you take a look at Samuel L. Jackson has done a really good job in the role, but that, like, so some people may say, okay, Samuel L. Jackson's done a really good job, so that it's at its best. Whereas others may say, no, you still have changed it, and so some people will still have some issue with it. Bottom line, white people are entitled and want to only see themselves on TV and cannot fathom that the rest of us want the same. Now listen, that's an interesting take. If these people are complaining because they don't see enough of themselves on TV, how can they not see that other groups would feel the same way? Like, that's a really great take. But it's like a complete lack of awareness and this belief. It's like the whole manifest destiny mindset in terms of powers. The MCU powers, they've changed the powers of so many characters. They've changed some. They've made some people more powerful. They've made some people less powerful. Like Drax the Destroyer should have been doing way more than he did. But in order to tell the story they want to tell, they've changed things. And I think that's a valid critique. If you want to tell a different story, then just write a different story. But they're doing it just constantly, and it's not going to stop, especially when you're changing the medium from comics to screen. When you're changing the medium from comics to screen, then you're definitely changing things, especially since comic books don't have an end. It's just like an ongoing thing. And whereas with the movie, they have to wrap things up with a bow.
Thank you for checking out this clip of Escaping the Echo Chamber. If you would like to check out the entire live stream, you can click on the screen now, or you can click on the link in the description box below. I'll see you next time.